Hey there, it's Dr. Yam, your Keep It Simple coach, and we are in day 4 of Back to Biz Reboot for our solopreneurs, freelancers, coaches, creators, and alike who are striving to grow their business using content marketing strategies. And that, my friends, is where we are today. Today is all about taking action. And that's going to come in part by outlining what are some of the things that are going to be necessary for you to actually carry out to put your content marketing sales funnel into action or go live. So let's do a quick recap about how we got to today. So on day 1, we really focused up here, starting with our head, to really make sure that we fully understand why we do what we do. What are some money blockers that might be getting in our way? How do we overcome those money blockers so they no longer are a hindrance to us? Take control over our positive thinking. Use affirmations to allow us to put into the atmosphere what it is we aspire to have, be able to do, and acquire. Remember, we're in business to make money, to sustain ourselves, to do what we love to do. And so what can that look like for you? So day 1 was really about mindset. Mindset then will give us the opportunity for what we really focused on day 2. Day 2 focuses on setting a goal, and that your goal needs to align with your purpose and your intended outcome. And what could that look like? So, glasses. And I gave you a formula for you to create a real goal. Not the goal like I wish. That's not a goal. That's a wish. But a goal that is actionable, that is specific, that is measurable, that is actionable, that is relevant, and timely, because we want to get it done. Right? And so what will yours look like? What does yours look like now that you had an opportunity to think it through and draft it out? And it's a moving target. But remember, the other thing is that this is a short-term goal. We're not trying to do something about where I will see myself in next year. No. We'll talk about vision boarding and other aspects of that a little later. But right now, this is about a reboot. So this is about how do I take account for where I am right now, stand in my truth with respect to what I have the capacity to do or want to do. And now that I have a goal and I've had it kind of clearly mapped out for myself and I can articulate that, because that's the other thing. You have to own the goal. You have to be able to articulate it and say it clearly. And that's the other thing about shaping a SMART goal, is it allows you to do just that. That you can then share that goal with other people, put it on a piece of paper. It's a reminder that you say it to yourself every day. That could be your aspiration if you want to, your affirmation if you like, or at least part of your reflective process. And then day 3, got to be a little fun. Now we're talking about, so now that we have the obstacles out of our way, we now have a goal. How do we strategize to accomplish the goal? And in our case, our goal is to use content marketing strategy to make that happen, i.e. what you see right here. And so yesterday, day 3, we actually facilitated that thought. So if you get your, if you haven't already have it in front of you, please bring your sketch that you did yesterday. I'm going to pull up mine. See if I can do my smart mirror. I'm going to bring up mine. Still using the same number. 168. Okay, we are good. All right, so I'm going to share. Let you look at what I came up with yesterday as we were talking. Right, put that up. Okay, so yours might look something like this. And now I talk through this. So if you didn't get a chance to be a part of day 3, then certainly go into the video archives under our guide inside of smallbizsociety.com. It's going to be there for a little while. But certainly I really went into very much a lot of detail on why this is explaining all of this, right? But essentially, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to be very specific on a particular sales funnel that is then going to be put into action. So that's what today's is going to look like. I'm going to take my little sketcher out and change my page. But essentially, we talked about how we have top of funnel. And in fact, let me bring that back up real quick. Slide. Here we go. We talked about what is a sales funnel and also some examples of what sales funnels can look like. And essentially, bring up this one. Oh, I don't think that's the right one. Hold on. I think this is the other one. Oh, I can't bring it up right now. But anyway, we mapped out the buyer. Here it is. I'm going to talk about the buyer's journey. Here we go. Okay, so remember we did a quick overview here on the buyer's journey and what that can what that consists of, and how your sales funnel is a reflection of the experience you're trying to take your prospect, your intended lead, your aspiring target audience through, right? And so what will that look like for them? So what is your sales journey looking like? And we're going to take that sales journey and we formulated it into a funnel. And so today we're going to I'm going to map out a new one real quick, specific to a specific funnel for an outcome, right? And then take us through the steps. So what is that going to look like? So that's what today is for. All right. So we're going to go from here. And then I want to give you a mini checklist that you'll be able to utilize for yourself. In order to get the checklist, I'm going to discuss it. But if you want the checklist, you need to either inside of the Facebook group, send me your email so that you can get your copy. And that's how you're going to get access to it. So I'm just going to be able to speak on it today. All righty. So that's where we're. So I'm going to go ahead and clear. Where's my pen? And let's get a new page up. All right. So today we're going to use the same scenario. So remember our massage therapist, right? We're going to use that as our example. And so for this particular sales funnel, right, we're going to, create a blog. So the whole idea here is, I'm going to do it first in some, quick outline. The goal of this particular sales funnel, turn on, baby. Here we go. The goal for this particular sales funnel, it's not like the tip I want to use. Here we go. There we go. All right. There we go. The goal for this particular sales funnel is you need to build content. We talked about that yesterday. So in order to do that, you want to first have some blog content, your article that's going to show you as the expert. So we're going to write a blog. And then because of that blog, you're going to then be able to create the social media that's going to direct them to your blog. Once they've completed and gone to that blog, right, and they said, oh, that was cool, right, there'll be a call to action. And in that call to action, i.e. CTA, they're going to be able to get lead magnet. Right? We're taking them through that journey. Okay. And then once they've done that, now that lead magnet, I'm going to share with you a couple of different options that you're going to be able to choose, because everybody's different. Everybody's strengths are different. Your service or your product may be a little different. So we want to make sure we can account for that. And in that, okay. And then, so once somebody opts in to that lead magnet, well, what do you want to do? You need to email them. So we're going to now then create an email automation. Right? And once we've done the email automation and they opt into there, right, then you'll be able to do what we call upsell. So the email is going to be not only to welcome, but it's also going to be to upsell. And it's also going to be to nurture, which we talked about in the yesterday as well. And so just so you know, all this doesn't magically appear. We need to create all of this content. Also, by the way, now that you've created this content and you've got people coming in and you're welcoming them, you will now have the ability to podcast, because now you have content you can talk about and you can send people to, you can share the offer. So I'm putting podcasting out here. And not that you have to create a new podcast, but you certainly can be a, why does this keep moving? Ugh. Pod. Ugh. There we go. Sorry. A pod. Cast. Cast. That's going to be another top of funnel, right? And we'll talk about what all that means. But essentially, that's another top of funnel. So you not only, now that you have this all in place, because you want to have all this in place first. So podcast guesting is kind of like one of the last steps. All right. So you want that to be your process. So what will all this kind of look like? So now I'm going to outline for you the actions necessary. Now, part of this thinking is also around how much of this are you going to do, and then how much you might be needing to outsource it. So I don't want people freaking out about this. You don't need to freak out when it comes to content marketing, because you always have options. And so what I'm getting ready to share with you are the outlines for some of the action tasks that are going to be necessary. And then you need to decide what that is. So again, what I'm getting ready to share with you is action steps that will help you to fulfill the sales funnel that you have drafted out. You get to decide, what are you going to do or what are you going to outsource? It all doesn't have to be done with you. So I don't want you freaking out about getting this work done. These are simple tasks. Remember, content marketing is about the long game. And so this is also an opportunity where you'll also get to repurpose content. So that, my friends, is the benefit of you sticking around and listening to what I have to say. All right. So let's go back. So let's go back to our steps real quick. So again, we've got blogs as our content, our primary piece of content. They're going to have call to actions. A call to action is that you always want your reader, your followers to take action. Take action in your social media, take action on your blog, even take action in your lead magnets, right? You're training your people to how to behave. That's your responsibility. And you're also doing some of that even inside of your email automations. All of those are about take action. So you've got lots of opportunities for your calls to action to appear in several ways, actually. So let's get down to the actual steps. So again, we're going to be going through this. I'm going to map out. Let me get my little note up here. All right. So when we think about the first step, the first one that's going to come to mind is going to be on blogging. Now, the purpose is that blogging is an essential way to share valuable insights, establish your expertise, right? Because you're the expert, and you could be the expert even if you're 2 steps ahead of everybody else. You still know more than what they do, right? So don't get caught up in like, oh, I don't think I know enough to be an expert to call myself to think that people are going to listen to me. Yes, you can. You can do that. So each of you are experts in your field, and you are the problem solver to your intended target audience. So, with that said, a blog allows you to demonstrate in written format and also audio format, by the way. So they're interchangeable. So don't feel as though everything I say to you is etched in stone. This is a way, not the way. So we're going to start first with blogging. And then what does that involve? So I'm going to give you a couple of things to think about. What does a blogging writing need to look like? Remember, you're providing valuable insight. You're demonstrating yourselves to be that expert in your field. And it's also a way for you to engage with your target audience. Remember, top of funnel, everybody's not coming through. We're going to filter a little bit. Not everybody's going to come through, right? So each blog is going to serve as a kind of like even a stepping stone, if you would, in your content marketing journey. And it's going to attract your readers, and it's going to drive them towards your lead magnet and inside of your sales funnel. So that's why it's at the top of the funnel itself in the image that I shared with you. What did I just do? Did I not? Oh, that's why I don't have it up here. All right. So that's why the blog is at the top of our journey and in our sales funnel, because that is the core content, if you would, right? It's the vehicle where all the good, juicy information is, right? Now, so that being said, the first step in working through building out your blog content is your topic selection. So you want to choose a topic that's going to resonate with your target audience, their pain points, and their interest. And you also want to opt for topics that showcase, again, your expertise and offer the solutions that you have. And you also want to be able to keep your target keywords rather in mind to improve your search engine optimization. Again, you don't have to be an expert in this. What I'm sharing with you, by the way, these are the steps necessary. Whether or not you do it yourself or you have someone else to do it, but you cannot hand off work to other people, i.e. your virtual assistant or someone else or myself, however you choose, right? You can't just hand it off and let them do the thinking for you. You have to have the thought process already mapped out of what your expectations are, and also understand what you should get in return for what you're asking someone to know and be able to do. So I do want to make sure that you have the right posture, if you would, with respect to that. The next is the actual content creation. So once you understand what your topics are, you understand what are some keywords, right? Then you want to create the content. So here again, I always suggest to my clients that you create 5 blog posts of about 1,500 to 2,000 words in length. This is going to be what I consider to be your evergreen content. Evergreen meaning it doesn't go out of date, right? This is something that will live on into perpetuity, if you would, right? You can come back and tweak it, obviously, because the things change, the industry changes, you want to keep it fresh. But these are your 5 core articles. That's what you should have at minimum. Even if you don't write any more, okay? Let this be the 5 core, all right? 15 to 2,000 words in length. They need to be long, and again, so that you can express in that topic matter and break things down into sections that have clear headings that are going to be easily readable, right? It needs to be something that somebody can digest. And then again, even provide some examples, some stories, actionable advice that they can take, right? Again, you are the expert. Provide them, add value. This is all about adding value. You're not selling right now. So you'll sell them a little later. This is about attracting the right people, your target audience. You're talking to those people, not everybody, those people. And also you want to make sure that that content is well structured, that it has an introduction, that it has main points, and it has a conclusion. Just like in high school English, nothing's changed. All right. Then step 3 of writing your blog is going to be on your SEO optimization. So again, you want to include your target keywords that naturally are in the blog post itself. Don't try to force fit, right? Make sure that you have headers, subheadings, and bullets. Again, easily readable. Craft a compelling, what we call a title and a description for your article that's going to be attracting. And there are some scoring mechanisms that if you test out a particular heading, it'll tell you, well, what will that ranking kind of score in the ability for someone to actually see it and read it, and also for it to be found on search engines themselves, and be able to lure people in. And then you want to include some internal and external links for those relevant resources. Again, that's all part of search engine optimization. You get a scoring, and there's some tools that I'll share inside of our workday sessions about what that can look like. So you can take those into account and take advantage of them depending on what type of websites you have and where you're hosting your blogs. Then there's step 4 is your visuals and your media. So here you want to incorporate images, you want to incorporate maybe an infographic, you want to incorporate maybe some diagram that's going to, again, enhance the visual appeal. You want to optimize those images so that they can load really fast. You don't want something that's going to, buffer, right? Nobody's going to wait for that buffer and they're going to move on. People are very impatient. And then you also want to ensure that the content flows smoothly, or rather that there, you can also rather include some videos, right? Or some other types of media that can enrich the content. Step 5 in writing your blog is about editing and proofreading. This is important. Now, I will tell you that I have dyslexia. So I see words that aren't there, or I see words that aren't there. So I'm a little different. Or I misread, or I overread. So editing for clarity, for your grammar and your consistency is important. There's lots of great tools out there, so you shouldn't have a problem doing that. And if you need, give somebody else second eyes who can do it, who's a grammarian and likes to do that kind of stuff. I'm sure you got one of your friends that likes to pick and poke at written word. So again, proofread so you can catch any misspellings and errors on any typos. And then ensure again that the content flows smoothly and is engaging, right? Is it something you would read basically? All right. And then step 6 in that process of writing your blog is formatting and publishing. So here, you want to format your blog post so that it's consistent with your fonts, the size, and the style. You have your brand. Your brand should be reflected in your blog. If you have not established your branding for your business, that's a separate subject matter. I need you to contact me and I can help you to establish that. But you want to follow those same guidelines on your blog and in your website. Okay. You want to preview the post to ensure that it looks good on all the different devices, right? Most of us should have by now responsive websites, so that the way you designed it on your desktop looks different than on a laptop, looks different on a tablet, will look the same rather on your phone, right? You want to make sure that the optimization is good there. And then schedule that post so that it will then be released from your plot itself. And then, which leads us into step 2, which is promoting that blog. So you want to share that blog on your social media platforms. You want to, maybe even if you already have an established, or you can later, you can email it in a newsletter to let them know about it. And then again, so that you can engage with the comments and stuff on your social post on your blog post itself and on your website. So those are the key steps for writing a blog. See, it wasn't that bad. Now, there are some tricks and trades to getting that work done. And so for those of you who are going to be part of our co-working space, I'm going to be able to share with you all the juicy details of what that looks like. So stay tuned for that. Now, let's go back. Now, we said that we had the blog was going to be in that top of tier, right? So now let's talk about social media, because really social media is going to drive them to the blog. Now that you have some content, remember, you got to have content to send people to. That's why I tell you, social media is not the end all be all. Okay. But it's important. So now we're at that part. Now that you have a blog, now you can tell everybody about the blog on your social media. So let's talk about social media for a minute. So the steps, when we talk about social media posts, okay, the purpose and the benefit here is that social media posts amplify the reach of your blog content, and it's going to engage your audience across various platforms. Now, repurposing your blog content into social media posts, right, is a win-win, right? It's going to allow you to share that valuable information, drive the traffic to your blog, and encourage interaction, as well as just driving traffic to your website, i.e. you need a website, okay? Now, the other cool thing too is for step 1 is you're repurposing your content already. So yes, I invested the time and the effort to write 5 evergreen articles, but now I can start to repurpose that baby. I can chunk it up any way I want. And here's the thing that's really funny to me about repurposing. I noticed the other day on a television show, a news show that I tend to watch, they're repurposing content even within their window, their block of time, right? So, and they're also using it in other shows. So repurposing, it has value. It's just smart. So so you would see that some information in the first block of their hour. It's a 3-hour show, right? So they may do information inside of the first hour. They're going to repurpose a segment of it, and you're going to show it again in the 3rd hour. So they're already repurposing their own content. I just find it fascinating. Anyway, so step 1, repurpose your content. So you want to extract some key points, some quotes, some statistics from your blog article. And I want you to be able to create 5 to 10 social posts for each of the blog posts that you just wrote. You even can mix and match text, the images and the videos to vary out that content. But you already put images in your article, so why not use some of those same pictures in your social post? That way, when they see it there, they'll see it again in the article, and it's like, oh yeah, I saw that. It's a trigger, right? You got to think about mental models. So repurpose your content. Step 2 in your social media post creations is copy and imagery creation. So here, when we say copy, we're talking about written marketing copy. Okay. So you can use tools for creating your copy like Vista Create, Canva, or are there other tools out there? If you're a designer, some of you might be using Adobe products. That's all great too. You want to be able to create eye-catching posts. You want to incorporate the blog post quotes and the snippets into captions in that copy. You want to utilize some free images that you can get from places like Pexel and Picabay and Unsplash. You want to consider investing, even if you want, into some premium images. I use a source called depositphotos.com. And then when relevant, create your own images of yourself doing and creating those visuals or videos themselves. Hashtags and calls to action is step 3 in the process of you creating your social posts. So here again, research relevant hashtags for each social media platform. You want to include 3 to 5 appropriate hashtags for each post. And you want to craft some really compelling calls to action to encourage engagement. Call to action, CTA. Now, step 4 in your social media post is visual content. So you want to, again, you can convert your blog content into short videos if you'd like, and make those into snippets or animations. So some of us don't want to be on camera, that's fine. Create an animation. Use your avatar of yourself if you like. I have a great friend, Lou Bartone. He does a fabulous job with his avatars, I think. So have fun with this. That's the other thing. Resize your visuals to optimize display on those different social platforms. They all do not behave the same. So you have to make the adjustments with your images, right? And then you need to schedule your social media posts using a social media management tool like Social Balance, which we'll talk a bit more later. 6 is to make sure that your profiles are updated. This is just a simple reminder. You want to update your social media profiles on each one. Make sure these are business profiles, by the way, with all of your current information. Make sure maybe that your headers, your covers, and all that, update them all. Make sure your photos are good, right? Ensure there's consistency with your branding and your messaging across all of your platforms. Okay, so make sure you do that update. And then posting of the schedule itself. So determine what are the optimal times for your platform. Inside of Social Balance, we use the algorithmic data from the different social posts to determine your ideal times to post your social posts that you have. So is very data driven with respect to that. So take advantage of that. And you want to be able to maintain a consistent posting schedule for that engagement. So again, repurposing content is a powerful strategy that can maximize your efforts, and creating engaging visuals and using appropriate hashtags can also help to attract a larger audience. So remember, social media is all about interaction. So encourage comments, encourage likes and shares to foster engagement and build your connections. That, my friends, is all about social posts. So now we're going to talk about what's the next step in this process. Well, we wrote a blog. We now have some social posts. Our next step is to create a lead magnet, right? So what is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is pretty self-explanatory, actually. It is something to generate leads for you, and it is a magnet, meaning something that's going to draw in your target audience to want to learn more from you. And lead magnets are a wonderful way to generate your leads. And what I mean by that is you want to start to create your list. This is what you own. I shared about the whole fact in the prior sessions. Social media is great, but all those likes and follows, do you really know who those people are? Can you call them up? Can you send them an email? Probably not. You need email addresses. If anyone tells you email marketing is dead, they're lying to you because they're doing it and they just don't want you doing it. I don't know why, but that's what it is. So we're going to create in our third checklist, number 3, creating a lead magnet. So again, a lead magnet is going to capture your audience's attention by providing value in exchange for their contact information. And so you're going to choose from different options. They all will not apply to you. It's all about, number 1, your comfort level, your readiness, and your willingness. Okay? But a couple different options that you have for creating a lead magnet could be an ebook. And many of you have already engaged in getting these from other people. Watch your competition. So there's ebooks. There may be an e-mini course or an audio course. Those can count as lead magnets. A webinar is a lead magnet. An infographic could be a lead magnet. And again, to repurpose your existing content effectively. So a lot of what I just shared with you could be information that you have already invested in the blogs that you wrote, i.e., we're repurposing again. So let me break down some of the options. So when we think about an ebook, right? Again, content selection is going to be key. You want to choose specific topics that are going to be, again, related to your expertise and your audience's needs. Again, you could simply repurpose the blog content to form the basis of your ebook. That's why I made you write 5 articles. Now, they could be the top 5 of this or however you want to break it down. But I could easily compose an ebook simply out of that article. Now, you can expand on those key points if you want to from those blog points and make it a little bit more expansive if you'd like. You can include more examples, a case study is always good, and some practical tips. And then you can organize the content into chapters and or sections. Step 3 in you creating that ebook is going to be designing and formatting. Again, design with a professional looking ebook cover. You want to format, again, consistent with your brand. Okay, again, easily readable. And you want to create a table of contents for quick navigation. Another option could be that of an mini e-course or an audio course. Again, structure is very similar. You want to select the 3 or 5 topics that's related, again, to your expertise. You want to repurpose, again, that blog content into easy mini lessons on that same topic. Again, you're the expert. You then can think about in your step 2 in creating that mini course, what is the mechanism for delivering that content? Now, you can either deliver it via short videos or audio recordings, and then offering, again, additional insight and examples. Then you need to think about a course platform. Choose an online course platform that can host the information. There are things like Teachable or Thinkific, and I'll share a whole lot of other things inside of our co-working space. So you'll have a lot of useful information with respect to that. And then you can upload your lessons and organize them logically. Another option for some of you may be creating a webinar as a lead magnet. So again, step 1 in creating a lead magnet as the form of a webinar is you want to, again, what is the webinar topic going to be? Step 1. You want to choose a high value topic that aligns with your expertise. You want to, again, you could repurpose your blog content to create an engaging presentation. Step 2 in your webinar is simply that, presentation creation. So here, create a compelling slide deck with the visuals. Incorporate, again, key points, examples from the blog content, case studies, again, just like you did we talked about from your ebook, whatever works. And then choose your webinar platform. Now, you can host webinar platforms on Keep It Simple Webinars is certainly one of my favorite. You can use Zoom, but you can't, unless you pay for the full version, it's not as cost effective. And then you want to set up a registration and a promotion for the event. And we're going to talk a little bit about that on the landing page piece. Another lead magnet can be an infographic. So that's another option. And again, The steps for creating an infographic are simply that. Select the content, right? Identify a focused topic with key takeaways. Remember, an infographic is a visual representation of something that embodies a lot of key points. Again, repurpose your blog content. That's concise points, right? Now, you can do an infographic on just one of those blogs, or you can make a jumbo infographic on all 5. You can choose. Or maybe even infographic that it highlights just the key points of the 5, and then guess what? Call to action. Guess where they're going to go? Back to the blog that you already have in your content. All right. Again, visual designs. Now, again, you want to design your infographic to be engaging and informative. Again, you can create it inside of tools like Vista Creative or Canva, or simply outsource it. Give person the outline that you want, and they can make it look all nice and pretty for you in short order. And then the content integration. So here again, incorporate some important statistics is always good. People like them to see the numbers, and that visuals, again, from your blog content. So remember, the whole goal of a lead magnet is to entice your audience to provide their contact information to you in exchange for that valuable content. Okay? So each of the options that I've shared are just different ways that you can engage your audience and showcase your expertise. Now, you can choose the option that best aligns with your audience's preferences, as well as your abilities and the content that you have already created. Now, you can do more than one. You can do all of them over a period of time. Start small, and then you can, again, those 5 articles are going to be your best friend, because you're going to be able to expound on it. That's why it's important that you start with blogs first and have that as what I call your evergreen content. That's going to be your go-to. Okay. Now, let's go back to did I do it? Yep, I did. So now we've got a blog, we got our social posts, and now we got the lead magnet. Which, by the way, you can create some other social post that talks about the lead magnet, the same way you have the blog talking about the lead magnet. And now you can even put the lead magnet inside the blog, so you can circle back. Okay, we'll talk more about that later. So now that you've gotten a lead magnet, step 2 is, well, where is that lead magnet going to be housed? So you want, do I want to do that? Yeah. So step 4, now that you have a lead magnet, how will you communicate to people that trusted you enough to give them your email address? We're going to now create email automation. Now, what will that mean? So when we think about email automation, it is a sequence of engaging and nurturing content to your leads. And the whole purpose behind it is so that you are building meaningful relationships over time, right? This is not a one-night stand, okay? So this is a sequence that's going to take your new subscriber to that lead magnet on the journey, from an introduction to potentially an upsell, all while maintaining regular connections through maybe newsletters. I do my weekly newsletter. Sometimes they're more than weekly, depending on what I'm doing. I have friends that email every day to engage their audience in what they're doing and things that they have going on. So you choose the rhythm that works for you, but consistency will be key. So let's just talk about email automation and the sequence, and creating an email automation sequence. So again, the benefits and the purpose here. An email automation sequence is what is going to engage and nurture your leads and build them over time You're going to, again, create a sequence, meaning a series of emails, which is different than a broadcast, right? When you hear the term campaign, a campaign is a one and done, right? It's kind of like an all call, hey, out there, right? Just making a simple announcement. It's not connected to anything else. A sequence is a series of emails that are connected together over a period of time. So the first thing you want to do in creating your email automation is step one, choose an email marketing tool. So there are some freemiums out there like SendFox, MailerLite, ConvertKit, meaning that they have a free version for a certain period of time or up to a certain number of people on your list, and then you can start to get charged. So you want to be able to set up your account and verify your domain. We'll get into what all that looks like inside of our co-working space. Next is your email sequence outline. So again, map out the sequence of 5 to 7 emails for the lead magnet subscriber. Again, just like the buyer's journey, now you have an email journey. So outline the purpose for each one of the emails. There's the welcome and the thank you. There's the nurture, a little bit about me, what I do, la, la, la. Then there's the upsell. You like that? I got something better over here, or invite them to this event, depending on the timing of things. Okay. And then let them know, now that we've built and bonded, you'll get more of me on a weekly basis in my newsletter. Let them inform them about that. Step 3 in your email automation is just writing your welcome and your confirmation email. So in this particular one, it should be warm and inviting, saying, hey, thanks for subscribing. Include a link again to access that lead magnet if you haven't already done so, but do it again. Some people sign up and then they forget. And then again, you want to confirm their subscription to ensure compliance in your privacy laws and everything like that. So we call that a double confirmation. So typically what happens and what you've seen happen is someone, when they subscribe and say, yeah, I want to subscribe, you can send them, and they say, here's my email address. They have to go to the email and say, yes, that's me. I did do that, and confirm. And now they're double opted in. Okay, they opted in the first time, and then they double opt in by doing it again. Say, yes, it's me. I said it was cool. Keep it coming. Okay. The next one, email, step 4 in your email sequencing, has to do with a backstory and an introduction. So in this particular email, you want to, again, share your personal story, your journey, introduce your expertise, and how you're going to be able to help them. And you also want to provide some links to some relevant other blogs that you can highlight and share with them. Another email could be about value and education. So again, share some valuable tips, insights, knowledge, address those pain points, and offer the solutions. And then include links again to related blog posts and or resources. The next email in that sequence could include the upsell or another offer, right? Because again, buyer's journey. So include, again, what is that relevant? It should be something relevant. It shouldn't be so obscure to the lead magnet. It should be a sister, akin to, right? Explain the benefits and the value of that offer. And again, include your call to action to learn more or make a purchase. Or it could be a booking. And then the newsletter introduction. Simple, just to say, explain the benefits of subscribing to your weekly newsletter or monthly, whatever. You get to choose the frequency. No one has to hold you, against your will. But some people do weekly, some do a daily, some do bi-weekly, some do monthly. Choose the one that you feel is going to best accommodate your followers as well as your capacity to maintain it. And again, if you need to, outsource it and at least collaborate with someone who can help you to make sure things are done on a, you can map out some of the high level stuff and get somebody else to do the rest of the work. And then a final thank you and a conclusion, right? Thanks for being a part of your community. Invite them to a community if you have one. And then reiterate the commitment for helping them. And encourage them to reach out with any questions. Now, Once you've created those emails, then you got to automate them. So there's the setting up of that based on your tool of choice. You're going to set up that email automation and you're going to sequence them and set up the different time intervals. And then review and test that automation. Make sure you do your grammar checks, make sure the timing is right, put yourself through the process, make sure everything is cool. So your email automation sequence aims to provide value. It's to nurture your relationships. It's to be a gentle guide leading towards further engagement, i.e. the upsell, right? By integrating that upsell opportunity and promoting your weekly newsletter, you're going to be creating a comprehensive email journey that's going to keep your audience engaged and informed. Now that we have our email sequence, where do you think we're going to go next? Well, let's look at our looks like we need to send them to a landing page. Where are they going to, now that we have the bulk pieces, right? We've got the blog, we've got the lead magnet, we've got the emails for the lead magnet. Well, now how are they going to know about this? We need to create a landing page or a website page, depending. Yours is totally up to you which one. So what's involved with that? So a landing page or a website is a destination where your visitors are going to learn about your lead magnet in detail and provide their contact information, i.e. opt-in, right? An opt-in page is sometimes what it's called. And again, clear marketing copy and an appealing design that's going to greatly enhance your conversions. So what's the steps in creating a lead page? So step one in creating your lead page is choose a platform. Now, ideally, you can take advantage that there are some platforms that not only do they create email automations, but they also offer landing page designs inside of it. So it's a twofer. So why not, right? And then you want to create a template or design one yourself, but you can pick, some of them mostly have some templates that you can then tweak and align to your brand and your style, customize the colors, the fonts, the imagery to match your brand. And then step 3 in that process is to identify the key components of your landing page. So here are the key components. Headline, a very clear and captivating title for your lead magnet. Identifying the benefits, highlight the value and the benefits of that lead magnet. The visuals, incorporate relevant visuals, the ebook cover, some course images, make those calls. Make sure that there's a clear call to action. There's a prominent button for that person to download or to access the lead magnet. And then the actual opt-in form. And there again, you're going to be able to collect the essential information, the name and the email for the lead capture itself. Step 4 in your landing page is crafting marketing copy. This can be a little, it's the time. I'm not going to say it's time consuming, but you do need to be mindful of the fact that you're marketing now, right? That's the whole purpose of a lead page, is to entice people like a commercial. So you want to have used some very clear and concise language. You want to address those pain points, i.e. why you're the expert. Highlight the transformation or solution that lead magnet is going to offer. Remember, it should be a win-win, right? Use paragraphs and sentences that are short. So again, they can be easily read and people can scan and read and get I can make a decision. If they got to keep rolling and scrolling and rolling and scrolling, they're not going to be making any decision because you threw too much at them. And you can sprinkle those over time, over the course of the design. Now, you want a benefit-oriented headline. So again, craft a compelling headline that communicates the key benefits. Again, use power words that are going to resonate with your target audience. You also then want to engage with headings and bullet points, break things down, of the content into subheadings and bullets. Again, highlight those key features and key takeaways of what's inside the purpose of that lead magnet. And then if you have some social proof and testimonies, incorporate those. It's nice to be able to show a positive review, a testimony from a prior customer, or some type of an endorsement. If you can use quotes to emphasize the value of your content, do that. Even if it's your own quote, that's fine. And then lastly, social proof and testimonials. Showcase again. What could that look like? And then your call to action button. And again, we're doing the same thing. Visually appealing buttons, download and access that lead magnet, as in action-oriented text. Get that free book. Sign up for that webinar, right? And then make sure, by the way, responsiveness, make sure it works well in mobile devices. Make sure that it can be read nicely on both desktop and mobile devices. Then review and test, double check, make sure everything's working good. Your opt-in form works good. You can fill it out yourself, it all works good. And then you integrate that with your email automation, right? So that link to your landing page should be a part of your email marketing tool. Inside of that tool, so confirmation and all that good stuff. So a well-crafted landing page is your lead magnet's home on the internet. So use persuasive copywriting and appealing design to guide your customers towards taking action and providing them giving you their contact information. And then have a seamless integration with the email automation system to ensure that their experience for signing up in that content delivery itself. Last but not least is step 6. And here, step 6 is podcast guest. Now, again, if you want to start a podcast, go for it. It's a process. I'm not focused on that so much with my clients as I am about getting them in front of other people's audiences. That's the real benefit. Another way to generate leads. So the whole point here is, now that you have all of this built out and you have it churning and working and you tweak it, then when you stand in front of, or I should say in the listening audience of a podcast guest, guess where all your referencing is going to be coming from? La la! Your blog content. You should know that inside and out by now. You've got a lead magnet and everything you're going to be able to offer to your audience when you're on the podcast and take them through the motions. So what does it take to be a podcast guest? So again, being a podcast guest allows you to share your expertise, connect with new audiences, and establish your authority. So creating also a media kit will help podcast hosts get to know you and your value proposition. So what's step 1 in being a podcast guest? You need to identify relevant podcasts. So you want to research podcasts relevant or related to your expertise and your target audience. And then you want to consider factors such as audience size, niche, and host style. Everybody, make sure you're simpatico, okay? Listen and understand. Listen to a few episodes of each of the podcasts that you've shortlisted to get a full understanding about their format and their tone. Again, does it align? And then identify the topics and the themes for the podcast that it covers. Step 3 in that process is prepare your pitch. Remember, this is marketing, content marketing. So you want to craft a compelling pitch emailing for introducing yourself. You want to explain why you're a great fit for that audience. You also want to give some suggestions on ideas that you can discuss. Step 4 in being a podcast guest, create your media kit. Now, this is simply a brochure, if you would, about who you are and what you do. So you want to include a brief bio highlighting your expertise and your background. You're going to provide headshots and professional images. You want to be able to have the share links to your website, your blog, your social media, anything that's relevant to making relevant prior to the podcast audiences, right? And then you want to outline the topics that you can discuss and the value you bring to the podcast. And if you need to, what you don't discuss. Then, once you have that down, step 5 in being a podcast guest is pitch to podcasts. So you're going to use that email draft that you just did to reach out to the podcast hosts themselves. You want to personalize each one of those podcasts with the theme and the content itself. And then step number 6 in being a podcast guest, follow up. Give the host a couple of weeks to respond and then follow up with a polite reminder if you don't hear back from them. They all have their own procedure, so make sure you read how they go through their process. Step 7 in being a podcast guest, scheduling and preparation. Now, once you're accepted, you then need to coordinate a suitable recording time. Some of them are live, some of them are pre-records. You'll get all that information. And then you want to confirm any technical requirements that there might be and any guidelines that they may have. And then prepare again the talking points or an outline for the episode. Step 8 in being a podcast guest, participate and engage. You want to engage in a lively, informative conversation during the recording. It should come across as being authentic. You should not sound like a robot. Be yourself. Share your valuable insights. Remember, you know you. And then interact with the host. And then secondly, or as just secondly, step number 9 in being a podcast guest, promote the episode. So you have just as much to do in being the guest as if you were the host. You want to share that podcast episode because guess what? New content. Woo. So you're going to share that on social media and on your website. Convert that even into a blog post if you want to. And tag the host and the podcast to extend the reach. And then, of course, my fave is step number 10 of being a podcast guest. Express gratitude. Thank the host for the opportunity, share the episode with your audience to show them. And I always send a little thank you gift. Usually it's a gift card, a digital one of sort. Just to say, thanks for your time. Because most of them don't charge, or if they charge, it's fairly minimal, but budget for that. But essentially, when we're thinking about podcast guesting, it's a wonderful way to build connections and share your expertise. And creating a media kit enhances your credibility and simplifies the pitching process. Remember, a well-prepared pitch and a genuine interest in the podcast theme is going to greatly increase your chances of securing a podcast post. So there, my friends, is a whole heck of a lot, but that's what it takes. It takes action to carry out your sales funnel. So again, we needed to, I'm going to share this back out. Remember here, here is all the dynamics of the sales funnel, right? That we talked about in our prior coaching session. And we want to move from here to a well-oiled sales funnel of yours and carrying out what is it going to take to create the content for your content marketing sales funnel. And now that you have it mapped out, you now have the steps that I've already outlined for you, and you're good to go. So now that you have it outlined and you know the steps that I've just shared with you today, how will you carry out those tasks? Well, I have an invitation for you. I will be hosting co-working space sessions to get the work done. So we will be posting inside of smallbizsociety.com, which is the Content Creation Tips and More Facebook group, is where I will be hosting co-working time that you can join me in getting the actual work done and producing your sales funnel. This is a private co-working session. So what's the benefit in a co-working session? Well, I'll tell you. Many of you are solopreneurs, you're freelancers, you're coaches, you're creators, and you're pretty much doing that by yourself. You're in isolation. Sometimes the gathering and that energy of other people on a mission to do the same thing you're doing has power. So I'm setting up for you that space to do that, to, how you say, hunker down and get her done. So don't you want to hunker down and get the work done using the steps I've outlined? And also know that in that co-working space, you're going to set a mini goal for yourself. What do you want to accomplish in that one designated piece of time? No interruptions. I will have some days that are going to be kind of coaching Q&A days as well. So if you're interested in being a part of a co-working space, I want you to direct message me here, or you can simply email me at dryam@keepitsimplecoach.info, and or send me a text here below inside of our Facebook community, and we can go from there. But that's how we get the work done. So you have, your mind is now clear. You have a goal. You have a marketing strategy. And now you have the steps necessary to carry out creating the content for your sales, content marketing sales funnel. I hope you found all this to be helpful. I certainly enjoyed sharing it with you. And until next time, let's get busy. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.